Okay, I'm gonna do some favor for you. Gonna be the live session that you will like to see that I'm going, and this is something for your favor because you're always waiting for this. Um, even that's let me see. Gonna be tie them up for a little bit. Um, just 1 second. Uh, because you always want to see something better. So I'm gonna do something good for you. Okay. So it's not gonna be. This is North Texas. This is a Frisco. This is by. Yeah. This is by.
Does that sound ethnocentric to you? Does that sound
by my neighbor?
racist? I mean, no doubt. Africans have contributed to the world. They're human
So
beings.
let me drive
Oh
through.
my God, they are like the Lord Jesus, our brothers and sisters in Christ. But does that sound black supremacist to you? Or ethnocentric does to me? Wait, I'm sorry. I forgot the rules. According to Barbara D'Angelo, DEI rules only white people can be racist. I apologize. So confused. Africa
Yeah.
and Illinois and black people cannot be racist. Last soundbite today's Tower Babylon. Listen to the Seattle attorney defend an illegal alien after he drunkenly drove into American trooper Christopher Gadd, killing him instantly.
And when these three circumstances collided, not only did it result in a catastrophic accident, it resulted in the tragic death of Trooper Gadd, but it is not a crime. Not all car accidents are crimes.
Did you hear the part where he was driving at 100 miles per hour and was drunk and drove right into the trooper, but it's not a crime? That's a Seattle attorney. Did I mention earlier? I think I did. That Seattle is completely spiritually fallen? You shall not lie, counselor. And that's a wrap for today's Tower Babbling.
If I stood up and lied, you would be the first person to say James Carville lost all credibility last night when he said X, Y, and Z. Yeah, I can spin, I can shade. Everybody does that.
That was the Tower of Babylon on A Disciple's View.
On a personal note today, on a day of Memorial Day, there was a great privilege I had as a talk show host in Seattle that can veer into what some people have called hero Todd stories. To hear this through what I experienced, it was not hero Todd, far from it. I just am blessed to have a lot of friends who did. And there's a lot of controversy about this and how it all went down. But I saw the movie, and there was one scene in particular that really stood out to me because of the culture of SEALs. And it was a gunfight, and they were engaged by superior numbers, our guys. And they kept saying, I'm good. Guys jump down a cliff, come up with broken femurs, but they have to keep moving. Are you good, brother? I'm good, man, I'm good. At one point, one of the SEALs is hit by gunfire or shrapnel from an RPG and shot all at once. And not to be gross, but there was some gray matter. Like he'd been shot in the head. And he touched his head. And he looked, he goes, they shot me in the head. They shot me in the head. And one of his fellow SEALs said, yeah, we're gonna get that. You're good. We're gonna seal that up. Are you good? You know, I'm good. I'm good. We just need to get to higher ground. We're faster than there. We're gonna take these guys. I'm good. And I watched that and I thought, no, but you're not good. No one's good. I mean, the training these guys go through and the pain they put their bodies through and are forced to put them through, they can overcome anything physically until God takes them. They're people who've not been in that culture, and I've not, but who've not had the chance to observe it up front, have no idea what these men are capable of doing and putting up with and sustaining and going through. So one SEAL makes it out. And I spoke about this on the air, and this was around Thanksgiving time. And I said, you know what, sometimes you guys who made it home are not good. And Memorial Day is about the guys who did not make it home. That's what it's about, people who gave their lives. Veterans Day, of course, is for everybody who served. But I spoke those words, sometimes you guys are not good. And you need to sometimes just admit, hey, I'm not good. And I got off the air, I was wrapping my things up, and my producer, Chris, came to me and goes, hey, you're gonna want to take this call. Okay, and I went into the studio, hey, this is Todd. And it was a woman, she said, Todd, we were just listening to your program. I'm here with my adult son. He served in combat and he's not good. Hey, will you please talk to him? Yes, put him on. And they're outside of a grocery store, about 2 hours away from Seattle. And he said, hey, my mom said I'm not good. Are you thinking about ending it? Yeah. Where are you? I'm in Bremerton. Okay, I'll be right there. Oh, sir, you can't drive up here. Please don't call me sir. I didn't earn that from you. I'm coming up. Please just stay there. Well, so I got to drive up. I got to see him. I got to meet him. God worked through me to have him not go end it. And he'd planned to do that after Thanksgiving. I had nothing to do with this. I got to watch it happen. And he continued on. And he and I became friends. Honor of a lifetime. And he's since helped me. He helped me in a very, very significant way. If you are right now not good, and sometimes Memorial Day is super hard for the ones who made it home. And if you spent Memorial Day in pain because you made it home and your brothers didn't, that's what they wanted. They died so you could make it home. No greater love has man than to lay down his life for his brother. They wanted that. They wanted you home. You were where they wanted you. So go speak. Go be heard. Get with a group of people who understand that if you can't find one, go to a church and beg to be connected. We love you. And your brothers died so you could make it home. Please remember that. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God, until the Lord gives us permission to speak again together. May his peace, which transcends all understanding, wash over you and your families. On behalf of Randy and AFR, I'm Todd Herman, and this has been A Disciple's View.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
90.5 KTXG, Greenville, Dallas.
An insider means you understand the joke that only certain ones really know. Other times, it gets you into exclusive places. As an AFA insider, you'll get information about issues and policies that can dramatically impact our families and our Christian rights. And you won't have to travel to D.C. or even dress up to get it. Find out more and sign up at afa.net/activism. This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
For American Family News, I'm Chris Woodward.
The U.S. Supreme Court has rejected the appeal of a Massachusetts student who was barred from wearing a T-shirt to school proclaiming there are only two genders. The rejection leaves in place an appeals court ruling that said it would not second-guess the decision of educators in Middleborough, Massachusetts, to not allow the T-shirt to be worn in a school environment because of a negative impact on transgender and gender nonconforming students. Alliance Defending Freedom represented the student and says it is disappointed by the rejection. President Trump has delayed the implementation of his tariffs on the European Union. Fox reporter Edward Lawrence has more from the White House.
The whole trade team here at the White House believes that the European Union has been dragging its feet, and that's when the president's frustration sort of boiled over. So he announced that 50% tariff on all goods coming from Europe into the United States. That's when the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen stepped in. She made a phone call to President Trump where she said on X, she said, Europe is ready to advance talks swiftly and decisively to reach a good goal. Now, here's the president yesterday about this.
She asked for an extension in the June 1st date, and she said she wants to get down to serious negotiation.
Today on True Social, the president saying where the EU slow-walked negotiations, its team now scheduled meeting dates.
The deadline for the EU to negotiate a new deal is now July 9th, before more tariffs take effect. A Houston woman accused of performing an illegal abortion recently appealed her clinic closures. Here's AFN's Robert Thornton.
The Texas Tribune says the three clinics were for primarily low-income and Spanish-speaking clientele. Recently, Maria Rojas' lawyers alleged in an appeal that Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton's office was so desperate to prosecute an abortion case that it conducted a shoddy investigation and leapt to wild conclusions. She is asking the First Court of Appeals to overturn a temporary injunction that prevents her from operating her clinics and providing medical services. Rojas is described as a midwife and was arrested twice in March, first on charges of practicing medicine without a license and then on additional charges of performing an illegal abortion. Amy O'Donnell of Texas Alliance for Life spoke with AFN.
The heart of the case is a serious concern about alleged illegal abortions in violation of Texas abortion laws. And whether someone is a doctor, a midwife, or any other provider, no one is above the law. And the law in Texas is very clear that abortions are illegal except to save the life of the mother, and then can only be done by a licensed physician.
She said it's the first case she's seen regarding a midwife.
We're not experts on what certified midwives in Texas are allowed to do under Texas law when it comes to administering misoprostol, but if there's any suspicion that these drugs were provided outside the scope of legal practice to provide an illegal abortion or abortions, then that deserves serious scrutiny. So we've long said that it's just a matter of time until we catch people illegally providing abortions, and we have strict laws in Texas.
I'm Robert Thornton.
A popular Florida beach destination drawing a different crowd this year. Fox's Therese Crowley explains.
About the size of a clam, those translucent blobs sure aren't clams. 99 people stung by jellyfish along Daytona Beach over Memorial Day weekend. On the beach and in the surf, Volusia County Beach Safety hasn't determined what type of jellyfish, but treats the stings with vinegar and advises caution with yellow flags. Most stings are mild, some required hospitalization. While jellyfish stings surged, ocean rescues sank. There can be hundreds Memorial Day weekend, but this year only 35. Thank the jellyfish. Beach Safety Deputy Chief A.J. Miller says you can see the jellyfish if you're really watching, but then you spend the day staring at the water and not enjoying the day. Therese Crowley, Fox News.
In final news, new research finds U.S. children whose parents divorced when they are age 5 or younger have reduced earnings as adults and increased chances by young adulthood of teen pregnancy, incarceration, and death. The study was done by economists at the University of California, the University of Maryland, and the Census Bureau. Find more on this story and other news of the day on afn.net. Be sure to subscribe to our free daily email news briefs. You can also like us on Facebook and follow us on X.
If we lose this cultural war, we're going to have a hedonistic, humanistic society.
Discover the story of the culture warrior Don Wildman and how he went head-to-head with Hollywood, Playboy, the homosexual agenda, and the Disney empire. The movement Don started paved the way for Christians to boldly stand for truth and righteousness in a hostile culture. Watch Culture Warrior today for free. Visit culturewarrior.movie. for it.
Religious freedom is about people of faith being able to live out their faith, live out their convictions, no matter where they are.
We equip.
Sacred honor is the courage to speak truth, to live out your free speech.
We also rejoice in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character, and character, hope.
This is At the Core on American Family Radio.
Welcome to At the Core with Walker Wildman and Rick Green. I'm Rick Green, America's Constitution Coach. Thanks for joining me today. I'm actually coming to you from Indiana today. So if you're watching online, my video shot looks like a hostage video, but I have not been kidnapped, and I am not being held ransom. I'm just actually in a room where I could do the show today, while we have a little over 100 people here in just outside of Indianapolis. We're in a little town called Franklin, Indiana, at this amazing place. You may have listened to the program back in, I think it was January when I had Mark Adams on. Might have been December, but we're at the Mark Adams School, and I am telling you, folks, it's like Disneyland for arts and crafts, a Disneyland for a woodworker or a glass blower or anybody that's like really good at that stuff. I'm not good at it. Okay, so my job's to run around and motivate everybody. I am not. You don't want to put my hands on the tools. Okay, but I just got to tell you, the Lord has moved in such an amazing way. I have been in tears all morning watching what's happening here at the Mark Adams School. So if you want to check it out, markadamsschool.com. It is now listen, Mark does this year round, so you can come out here and do a program with him anytime throughout the year. All kinds of, they do basically a week-long class, and you don't have to have any skill to come in. You can come in and learn how to do these things, and I'm talking about everything from the most intricate, detailed, fine woodworking, ironworks, leatherworks, like I said, glass blowing, incredible. And the reason we're here is because Mark came to one of our graduations for Patriot Academy last year, the one we do here in Indiana, our Midwest Academy we do at the Indianapolis, at the Indiana State Capitol. And he was so moved by what we're doing to raise up a new generation of patriots and teach them how to influence the process and be effective at the process. And he saw our closing ceremony where we had the military veterans pass the torch to the kids, and they signed the Declaration of Independence. And he was so moved, he said, Rick, man, I got the best of the best. I mean, I got the guys that make White House furniture. I got the guys that do, all the best of the best stuff. And we could do Independence Hall for you. We could make all that interior, their intricate molding and the Windsor chairs and the George Washington, president's chair up there at the front, and the tables, the paneling, all of it, the crown molding, you name it. And he, just this is the kind of stuff the Lord's done for Patriot Academy and for the things that we've been doing. He literally has opened up his place, shut down his whole facility for just us. And when I say his whole facility, I mean, I'm talking building after building after building that specializes in these different, arts. And they are right now, I mean, literally, we started at 8 o'clock this morning, and they're already churning out the paneling and making chairs and doing all this cool stuff. And over 100 people came out here. Some of them were, some of them are you. Some of our listeners to American Family. Some were, longtime Patriot Academy supporters, never done anything like this before. And some were just some of Mark Adams students from other programs that said, yeah, we want to be part of making the furniture of the Founding Fathers. We want to be part of rebuilding Independence Hall at the Patriot Academy campus. And so I wish you could see. Well, if you're not following me on social media, make sure you go to follow me on Facebook or X or one of those other ones, and I'll be posting pictures of all of these people making this incredible furniture. So anyway, that's why I'm on the road this week. So I'll be filling in for Walker tomorrow too. So I'll be with you 2 more days after today, and it'll be from here in Indianapolis as we make this incredible furniture. And if you're new to the show and you haven't heard me talk about this before, we're doing a replica of Independence Hall. We're rebuilding Independence Hall for the 250th anniversary of the nation, the 250th birthday of the Declaration of Independence, and we're doing it at the Patriot Academy campus in Fredericksburg, Texas. We're just outside of San Antonio, 50 minutes from the San Antonio airport. And so anyway, we're building Independence Hall. Our goal, Lord willing, if the funding comes through, we will break ground on July 4th this year, and in 365 days build out Independence Hall and cut the ribbon on it on July 4th, 2026, on the 250th birthday of the nation. And so here in Indianapolis, we're making the interior. So we're basically building out all of the furniture and all of the paneling and the chandeliers even. I mean, this guy even makes chandeliers. We've got the two best glass blowing experts in the country, maybe the world. We've got the guys that no kidding, I'm not just White House furniture. I mean, I'm talking like the best wood turners and craftsmen you can imagine. And it's just cool. I tell you what, I'm not kidding when I say I was sitting back in the back of the room today in tears as these experts were introduced and how they are volunteering their time to come and make this stuff and to teach our people how to make this stuff. And for our people, man, just think about that. You get to have your hands in the mix, quite literally rebuilding liberty. Of course, last week I kind of walked through a little bit of our rebuilding liberty plan for the 250th. That's rebuilding liberty philosophically, rebuilding liberty, in terms of education and policy and those kind of things. This week, that we are rebuilding liberty, literally rebuilding Independence Hall. So we're rebuilding the physical things that it just conjures up this emotion, because that's the cradle of liberty. That's where the Declaration was created. That's where Jefferson presented those famous words: we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they're endowed by their creator with certain inalienable rights, and among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I mean, this is the heart of this whole thing. And it's the place where the Constitution was debated and framed, and I just, man, I get goosebumps when I think about it. I get to teach on this stuff all the time, not just here on the radio program, but in person with people all over the country, and to have our hands in the actual rebuilding of the place where liberty was born, the cradle of liberty, and to do all of this at this time in history, and to do all of this at the very moment where America desperately needs a rebirth of freedom, where we desperately need, as we're celebrating the birthday of the nation, we desperately need to know what we're celebrating. Why America became the greatest, most powerful, the most free, the most benevolent nation in the history of the world. When we say we want to make America great again, what are we talking about? Like, what does greatness even mean? And how did America become great in the first place? If you're going to do it again, if you're going to make America great again, you got to know the formula that produced the greatness in the first place. And so the reason for building Independence Hall is to get people to almost step back in time right there on our campus in Fredericksburg, Texas. And when they step back in time, relive the discussions that produced the framework that would be built upon the principles of liberty that would in fact become the greatest nation in history. And so these physical things, while you might say, well, Rick, that's just pomp and circumstance, that's just for show, it's just bricks and a building and chairs, what does that really mean? Well, it in my opinion, the nostalgia of it, the emotion of it, it just allows you to open up your mind and your heart to say, if I'm sitting in this chair, just imagine that. If you come to Patriot Academy, let's say a year from now, 2 years from now, and you come into Independence Hall, and you walk in there just like the Founding Fathers did, and you sit down in one of those Windsor chairs, and you sit at that desk with the green tablecloth on it, and we start talking about, what does it mean to say we hold these truths to be self-evident? Hey, Jefferson, what are you talking about? Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. That was life, liberty, and property. We've all read John Locke. What are you saying, Thomas?
Serena Paul.
And to let Thomas Jefferson explain that pursuit of happiness is just a broader view of property. The pursuit of happiness is Adam Smith's invisible hand. It's the free enterprise system. It's the ability to have competition and for a person to pursue their dream, to pursue what God's put on their heart, even if it's not necessarily farming or using their actual property, but it's a dream that they've been given to pursue happiness, not the guarantee of happiness, not the redistribution of happiness, but the pursuit of happiness. Just imagine that you're able to sit in one of those chairs